Greener Journeys is a national campaign from Britain's biggest bus companies to encourage people out of their cars and onto buses. The campaign aims to shift 1 billion journeys to buses from cars by 2014, saving 2 million tonnes of CO2 emissions. And with the campaign organisers believing driving isn't always the best option for certain journeys, they are confident of achieving this goal, the equivalent of 1 in 25 trips switching from car to bus. But it's not just the environment that will benefit from the scheme. Researchers at the University of Sussex have conducted an experiment comparing the stresses of car and bus travel.
We have found in some of our studies of commuter drivers that the drivers are experiencing levels of stress similar to those of a combat pilot flying into action or a riot policeman facing an angry mob. We measured stress in 2 ways. We looked at the changes in heart rate. We also measured something called EDA, which stands for electrodermal activity. And this is a measure of how physically and mentally stressed you're becoming by any situation. And when people were driving a car, we found a peak in their EDAs at certain points in the journeys, meaning they were becoming very stressed indeed.
Well, getting on the bus for me initially I'd consider quite stressful because I love my car. But the morning I got on the bus, it was there quite quickly, paid my money. I think initially I was a bit, am I going to get a seat? But then I got a seat and I was absolutely astonished of how quick it was and really stress-free. On the whole, I do drive a lot. I work in London quite a lot of the time, so I spend a lot of time on the motorway and whizzing around doing a bit. And my comfort zone is in my car. I don't use public transport, really. But getting in my car that day, I found the car drive very, very stressful indeed. And I actually thought, I'd be happier on the bus letting someone take the strain for me for a change.
So if travelling by bus can be a third less stressful than driving, why do so many of us still insist on using our cars to get to work, or for local trips like going shopping in town or to the movies? Modern buses are now more comfortable than their old counterparts, and they take away the stress of finding somewhere to park.
I always call passengers eco-warriors because they've given up on their car, they've given up on the expense, and they just get in the buses because it's cheaper, it's greener and it's easier.
The new scheme is being piloted in Milton Keynes, Norwich and Exeter before its nationwide rollout. And to demonstrate their commitment to getting motorists out of cars and onto buses, Greener Journeys is giving away 1 million free bus trips throughout the UK.
If we can deliver our target of taking 1 billion car journeys off our roads by 2014, we will deliver real benefits in terms of the environment. That's a reduction of 2 million tonnes of CO2. A single double-decker bus can take 75 cars off the road.
As a result of this study, my advice to motorists would be to give the bus a go on a commute. I think you'll find 3 things. First of all, it's much more relaxing. Secondly, you can get some work done. And thirdly, when you arrive at your place of work, you'll be in a much better condition to do your job than you would be if you'd driven through heavy traffic.